Back in the building, it's the Raspy Voice Kids. I also hate Pitt, known as Brandon Phoenix to the rest of the world. I'm here with your co-host, JN Fiend. What it do, what it is.
Back here, I'm present, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk about Baylor. Let's get it going.
There is a lot to talk about this week. First and foremost, we're not doing a pop culture, so if you're looking for the pop culture, look no further. There will be none this week. We're only going to do pop culture when it really is something pressing to us, when it really matters to us. This week we didn't have one, but we do have strong feelings and opinions about the Baylor game. Jeremy, what was your perspective? What would you say was your overall feeling leaving Waco?
Anxiety, stress,
high blood pressure,
stress, all that stuff. I said this to Duffy Nation. I said, why does it have to be like this? Every game, every single game we need a Xanax. Every single game. I just want to put on cruise control one time and just enjoy my night. But instead, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I don't think we'd understand it if it was any other way. I mean, would we? I mean, even think about our great victories. Louisville, comeback, 3 overtimes. Miami, we beat the Hurricanes when we're undefeated season, 17-14. It's always stress. It's always dramatic. Very rarely do we take an opponent and just take them to the woodshed when it's something that really matters, or even when we're in a situation where our backs are against the wall, which it is for us since we were 4-2 and already had a loss in conference play.
Well, I'll say we experienced it one time there in the Orange Bowl, and I'm just let you know, I didn't mind it at all.
No,
actually, I enjoyed it.
I didn't say we. I never said we wouldn't like it. I never said we wouldn't like it. I said we wouldn't recognize it. But you're right. I forgot about the Orange Bowl. I forgot about the Fiesta Bowl. But even the Sugar Bowl, we took that big lead. Then they came back. Yeah. We remember the Sugar Bowl as a beatdown because it started out that way. But we won the game 38-35. And by the way, 3 different coaches. We get the same kind of, it's the West Virginia way. That's why they call us Stress Virginia. This is nothing new.
No. They say maybe we won't enjoy it as much, or some people say we like close games. I want something entertaining. Not me. Look, I'm sorry, I don't care. 70-0 is very entertaining to me.
I love every minute of it. I love every minute of it.
70 any day of the week. What I don't like is what happened in Baylor, in Waco, last Saturday. That's what I don't like. Sitting here biting my nails, hoping that we make a play on a 2-point conversion when we were up 38-13.
Do you know what I like about it?
What?
Dana said it. Dana said it in his press conference. In his Tuesday press conference, Dana said, 2 weeks in a row, you have dramatic comebacks. One for us, one against us. Most teams do not leave that situation 2-0. We are. In those situations, we're 2-0. 2 in a row. That builds character. That builds confidence. And I really, genuinely believe it does. I do too. We believe that this team is a team that has no quit. Now, let me ask you. A Dana team 3, 4, 5 years ago, do you think they win either of those games?
No, we already know it. That's what we're always talking about. That's what we love about what Dana is doing. Every year we see them get better and progress in areas they wouldn't have won in years past.
Yeah.
What we saw these last weeks, we wouldn't have won these games. And yet our team, we came back and we played and we held on. But, I think all championship teams at some point during the year win a game that they shouldn't have. And we just happened to get 2 of them in a row.
That's right.
I don't know. I won't say we shouldn't have, but we try to play around and give that one away.
We won games we could have easily lost. We could be having a very different show this week. 2 weeks in a row, we could be having very different shows. And we're not. And
No. Do you know how real this show would be if we'd have lost?
The thing is, that's what you said is what the truth is. Dana's team, Dana's teams, Dana's coaching staffs show maturity. Coaching-wise, he would not have been able to coach his way out of the deficit against Texas Tech and Morgantown 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, depending on your perspective. And he would not have been able to the team would not have had the depth to sustain Baylor's comeback. Because our team was gassed. Had it not been for the depth that we've already amassed, what we had would not have been enough. It was. And Xavier Preston makes the play of his life. The play of his life on that 2-point conversion. Recognition.
Hey. Dude balled. Straight up balled.
And truth be told, that pass interference he got in the end zone was ridiculous.
No. I was just going there. Xavier, I love you, baby. Stop it.
Stop pushing people with all of your might when they're running.
Stop. And stop hitting quarterbacks after they
Yes.
throw the
Stop
ball.
making it hard on us, man. Stop.
Stop.
You are the man. Dana said
He
it
is.
in his press conference also. Xavier played the best game since he's been at WVU against Baylor.
Do you know what I love? Do you know what I love about Xavier Preston? You have different linebackers who do different things.
Yeah.
This dude can cover the slot receivers. This dude can cover the running backs. His coverage ability is at least an 87 on the game right now, maybe an 89.
I love
the dude.
I thought you were gonna say that he's number 5. I love that our linebackers are 3, 5, and 11. I love that.
Yeah.
And our linebackers are as good as I thought they would be at the beginning of the year. They are so good. Dana said in his press conference Tuesday that Al-Rashid Benton is possibly the smartest player he's ever coached. Now he made exception for quarterbacks and for David Sills. We call him Silitnikov. Some of you guys are calling him Sills Team 6. We prefer Silitnikov because we're trying to get that Bolitnikov.
That's right.
But that's high praise for Al-Rashid, and I think that you see David Long being out really skewed what Al-Rashid had to do at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely.
And Jeremy, you were saying it the whole time. I was giving praise to Dylan Tonkery the same way Gibby was. But Jeremy, what did you keep saying about that situation?
No, I felt like Gibby had to pump Tonkery up. I think Tonkery's going to be great, but in that situation, I think that he had to keep his players' heads in and inflate them a little bit.
Yeah, give him confidence. Make sure that he knew that he believed in him, what he could be, what he would be. And Dylan played his heart out, and he did excellent. But he's not David Long. And when you have David Long in the field, then Al-Rashid can play his natural position. Doesn't have to help. Doesn't have to overcompensate. And you see what he's doing.
Absolutely.
And it's just Xavier Preston the same way. And I love it, man. I love the depth that we've built. I love what we're seeing. And this whole segment is called 3 Quarters of Greatness. Dana said that the third quarter was the best quarter of football he's ever coached. He said it was like they could do no wrong. And the results spoke for themselves. Greer finished with 5 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns for Sills, up 38-13 in the third quarter. And that's 21 points in the third quarter, 3 touchdowns, excellent football. The defense, I don't know if you know this, the defense held Baylor to -6 rushing yards by the end of the third quarter. Did you know that?
I didn't know the specific number. I knew they played well.
They had -6 yards.
That was big.
-6 yards.
And that's big because we all know about, we say the word gash. Some people like it, some people don't. But
no, you're right.
Early on,
you were right.
We were getting gashed, so to hold them to -6 is huge.
-6 is beyond huge. -6 is nobody would ask that you hold a team to -6 yards for 3 quarters. That's what Tony Gibson's defense. That's what the Dogs did. They held them to -6 yards for 3 quarters, and in total for the game they had 6 sacks. We were 114th in sacks coming into that game. We only had 7 for the season. We got 6 in one game. So you hold them to -6 yards rushing, and you get 6 sacks. And we're not talking about a dominant defensive effort. Why? Because a backup quarterback happened.
Yeah.
That backup quarterback, his name escapes me. I keep wanting to say Ellinger, but that's a guy from Texas.
No, I don't remember his name.
But he comes in and it's changed. The fact that he was mobile, that he was a run first type guy, changed everything for our defense. We were not prepared for it. We were not expecting it. And there was no reason we should have been expecting it. There was no reason to be prepared for it. But that's what happens when you play a desperate team. A team that's...
No, that's what I said. I tweeted this. I don't know if I tweeted out. Oh, yeah, I did. I did tweet this out. Early in the game, I said, this is what happens when you play an 0-6 team. You have to defend 4 downs no matter where the ball is.
Because what do they have to lose? They've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
They've done all the losing, right? They keep losing. They got nothing to lose. All they have is the hope of getting a win and embarrassing somebody within their own conference, which is why we hate Baylor. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
But all of that said, it changed. And so people talking about Gibby, talking about the defense, please pay attention to what happened. We cannot overlook the fact that they had a backup quarterback come in who did not play the position the same way as the starter. That's hard on anybody. You remember there was another situation like that. Do you remember that, Jeremy?
I'm trying to think. Are you talking about Eli? Eli in the Ole Miss down there in the...
No, but that's a good example. No.
Old mouth breather himself, Eli. Yeah. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about when old Pat White came into the game against Louisville.
Oh, you're talking about for us. Yeah. Yep.
It changed everything. They were not ready for it. And when you're not ready for something, when you haven't game plan for something, it's really hard to stop. I don't care how good you are.
No, that's a good call. And this is what I was talking about with Between the Ears. Me, Chris, and Skylar, we were talking about it. And the thing that's funny is, all right, I'm going to reference it like I did there. The NFL, they talk about these rookie quarterbacks who have these great years. And they always want to put them, they're a top 5 quarterback. Look what they did. And do you know what they call their next year? They call it the sophomore slump.
Yep.
It's not a sophomore slump. It's just that these defensive coordinators have had time to break these quarterbacks down, look at their tendencies, look at what they normally do, and game plan for it. And that is exactly what we saw against Baylor. We had this new quarterback in. We didn't game plan for him.
None.
We didn't, all week we played for somebody else. So he comes in, and of course, our guys are tired. But not only are we tired, we're complacent because we're up 38-13.
We did lack focus.
We absolutely lack focus, especially, and where you see the lack of focus and lack of being on the gas is especially on the offensive side of the ball. But anyway,
that's a hard call because what do you blame that on? Do you blame that on the players on offense, or do you blame that on the play calling from Spav?
I blame it probably on both, but probably a little bit more on Spav for not calling certain plays. But either way, they're letting off the gas. I'm not saying the players. I'm saying the team, our Mountaineers let off the gas. Whether it's coaching, whether it's players, we're all Mountaineers.
Now, Old Herd Hater said that has Jake Spav on his list. He's got Spavital in the Jeff Mullen conversation.
Look, these people who say that kind of thing.
No, it's Herd Hater.
I know, Herd Hater. That's my dude. But look, not so fast, my friend. How can that's what I'm saying. It's really hard to be critical of an offense that is putting up the stats and points that they are.
And don't get me wrong, they're gonna break records all over the place for West Virginia University.
What I'm saying.
What are people talking about?
We didn't finish certain drives. Everything hasn't went perfect. But Spav is doing a great job. Are you looking at the points and the stats and the things that we're doing on offense? Are you serious?
We got a quarterback leading the nation in touchdowns. We got a receiver leading the nation in touchdowns. Justin Crawford had run for 100 yards every game until the last 2. And there's questions about whether or not he's injured or whether there's some kind of fatigue or something else might be going on. We don't know. We're not reporters. What we do know is when Justin Crawford is right, when he's healthy, that dude is a beast. So whatever's going on, hopefully they can get it straight. And in the meantime, if he is injured, what I would like is that they let Kennedy McCoy, Martell Pettaway take the carries because those guys can run. They're not as good as Justin when he's healthy. No, everybody knows that. But let Justin get healthy. Let him get his mojo back, and let those guys tote the rock so our running game can be where it needs to be. Because I think if anybody has any complaints, that's where it is. That our running game is not where we want it to be. It's not as consistent. Part of that maybe goes to the offensive line, which Dana said in the press conference.
I agree.
Dana said in the press conference that in the Baylor game we took a step forward towards the attitude. And the attitude is everything for the offensive line when you're running the ball. Big nasties, big uglies. You want to be those dudes just tearing people up, just got a nasty mean streak in you. And evidently that was missing a little bit. It wasn't missing in Kyle Bosch, so we got to look at some of those other guys. But hopefully we're going the right direction like Dana said. But then the other part is Justin Crawford may not be right. I don't know. I'm not in the training room. I'm not in the running backs room. I just hope he's 100%. And when he gets 100%, that dude is a beast. He's already proven it. The Big 12 knows, the nation knows. But besides that, maybe a little bit of play calling. Maybe they want to run the ball a little bit more. It's hard to go from being tempo to taking your foot off the gas and not being tempo. I think that breaks a rhythm.
No, I agree. And here's the thing. We're not playing complete games. We're not finishing all 4 quarters.
No.
Every single game we have letdowns. But we scored 38 points. We scored
in 3 quarters.
I know
it's 3 quarters.
I know it's through. I know we took a quarter off, but it's hard to be critical and point to the offense when you score 38 points.
Yeah,
that's my thing. It's one of the things where I can't be too critical. We'll get it together, and like I said, we're still due for a complete game because we're 7 games into this. How many? 7?
Yeah, we're 5-2, 4-1
into this, and we still haven't played a complete game yet.
3-1.
So hopefully this Saturday when the Pokes come to town.
Okie Light is what we like to call him.
Oklahoma Minor.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, at the end of the game, there were people who were furious. I was happy. I was elated. I was ecstatic. You know why? Because we won. And winning is not the most important thing. It's the only thing. Just win, baby.
You were ecstatic.
I'm not kidding. Jeremy, I went from thinking there was a chance we were going to lose that game to Baylor, be the laughing stock, be the come on man on Monday Night Football, be the everything that anybody wants to. Jeremy, we would have been the talk of the nation. The talk of the nation. We went from being the talk of the nation to we won. And we're still in the hunt for the Big 12 championship. Yes, ask Kimmons. I did a little dance. I threw my hat down and did a little dance. High stepping.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Now, I couldn't go to sleep. I had to have a little bit of scotch. But winners deserve scotch. So I felt like I earned it.
I mean, I know some other lads out there who feel like that after a game that they should have won easily.
Listen. This is a different conference. This is not the Big East. We're in the Big 12. We are in the Big 12, and we have a chance to win the Big 12. We have a chance to be in the inaugural Big 12 championship game, win the Big 12, and have a really, really slight, absurd, ridiculous, negative almost percentage chance of being in the playoff consideration. But
look, I hear you saying,
we stayed alive.
This
is big boy football.
As long as you smell what I'm stepping in with the lads.
Jeremy, I said we're not in the Big East anymore. I felt like I should have been enough to communicate. Okay? We're in the Big 12, son. This is a Big 12 every week.
Okay. Week. All right. Well, I didn't feel that way. I wasn't mad at anybody, but I just felt like what's the truth is like, I don't know how many years they've taken off my life, but it's substantial. And I don't know why it has to be this way.
Yeah, I felt like we should have had 50 points in that game.
A W is a W, but I just, why does my life have to be shortened because you want to play around?
You know what else I liked about? Do you know what else I like about having games like that 2 weeks in a row? When you bring in number 11 Oklahoma State, nobody will lose focus during practice, during film review, during any kind of study sessions this week.
No,
everybody will be focused. The coaches will have everybody's attention. That's another thing I like. A blowout against Baylor. I trust this team. I feel like this team has a level of maturity, even from somebody as young as a guy like Lamont McDougal, Adam Schuler is a sophomore, but there's no chance of it. There's no chance anybody can get giddy about themselves because we haven't played a complete game. We almost lost 2 weeks in a row. So now when Oklahoma State comes, full attention on the Pokes.
Yep. Bring them on.
Bring them all. Bring on the Pokes. And we'll get to it, why we hate Oklahoma State. But that's coming. Y'all just have to wait. Appreciate y'all joining us for this segment. On to the next.